Hello, I'm back. This is her story, part three.
I'm gonna try to kill him. Does that sound hypocritical? I'm gonna try to kill him because that's my daughter. The unfortunate thing for my wife, she didn't know her father, so she didn't have that male figure.
So, yes, he's right. Unfortunately, I did not have a father. I actually did not meet my father until after I gave my life to Christ. Right before I turned 39 years old, I wanted to meet my father and mend what I had been missing. I felt like my entire life. So, we're going to take it back just a little bit. Stanley was not always evil to me. In fact, there was a lot of things, a lot of times he was good. And that's why it would confuse me and make me want to stay because he would be really good and then he would turn into this really, really bad person that I couldn't identify. One year, Stanley decided to reach out to my biological father. I had no idea. When I was 19 years old, my father had reached out to me for the first time. I guess he felt like I was grown and he can actually reach out to me for himself. So he wrote me a letter from jail. I went to pick up the letter. I cried about it and I never responded to the letter. By the time I was about 32 years old, he reached out to me on Facebook. When he reached out to me, I immediately went to my husband at the time and was like, told him like, "Oh my gosh, I think this is my dad," and he just reached out to me. I don't want to talk to him. So Stanley set me down on the couch and he told me that he had reached out to my dad and he thought that this was something that I needed to do um, to get to know my dad and try and find forgiveness for my dad. I told him that I was going to pray about it because I was so hard up about if my dad doesn't want to know who I am while I'm a child, I don't want to know who he is as an adult. But I did promise my husband that I was going to pray about it and go to God. I prayed about it. I woke up the next morning and without me telling my husband, I started to text my dad. We text for days. I asked for questions that I always wanted to ask him and he answered a lot of them. After that, I never texted him again until I gave my life to Christ. The reason I wanted to tell this story is I want to depict that sometimes people who we that turn bad or become bad are not always bad. In this story, Stanley was like a really good person to me. I feel like I needed those questions to be answered and I would have never done those things myself. But this is only her story, part 3.1. I will be dropping a few more stories about Father's Day within the next couple of days about me and my children experiences with me and my husband at the time. Thank you guys for joining. Stay tuned for part 3.2.